Hello everyone, I'm Elise. Says Another Truth here on YouTube. I hope that you're doing well and that you're taking excellent care of yourselves. Today I'm going to gently and calmly talk about the problem that you see in this post. I want to thank the Redditor for posting this in the WOACB subreddit. If you want to see the original post, it is entitled LOL, laugh out loud. Okay, Jan. Before I continue with this, there is a content warning, as always, as I put on before every video. I will be talking about Katie Joy's post. I will be discussing her behavior around this and some of the problems that I see. I may use phrases in a layperson's way to comment on her narcissistic sociopath commentary. I may bring up emotional dysregulation and mental health. So please do not watch this video if this is triggering or if this is not the material you want to hear today. Believe me, the view isn't worth it if you're going to be upset and it's not something you're interested in. You can make reference to some of the links that I posted in the description box in case you are feeling like you need assistance anyway. I think it's helpful. But if anything that I say here is triggering, please do that. But if you're going to be triggered, don't watch it. Believe me, I don't need the like in exchange for your grief, for your sadness, or anything like that. It's not worth it. Your well-being's far more important. Okay, I'm going to read this as politely as I can, and then I'll go back point to point and just give you my opinions. Everything I say here is based on my opinions, my perspectives, and understanding of what's going on. Nothing more than that. Okay? Do not take what I say as fact, and please do not, on my behalf, out of anger or anything, go after anybody that I talk about within this post. Don't use law enforcement inappropriately and illegally to target them. Don't use social services. Only make use of those resources if you do see a credible threat of anything in their own material. Okay, so she said, I haven't been on this week. Given that there is a very real possibility TikTok will be banned, I am struggling with the concept of building an audience that will only disappear in January. That's why I'm not here this week. Also, my reporting is not focused on Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and I think some people have wrongly lumped me into being an anti-gypsy creator. I am not anti-anything. I am pro-truth and accountability. I also believe that ignoring a dangerous narcissistic sociopath is better than constantly talking about or promoting. Just something I hope some people will consider. Okay, I'm going to say this as calmly as I can. I did want to giggle at one point about the pro-truth and accountability. Now, Katie might be using AI for this, but this could also be one of her word salads. And she engages in this behavior from time to time where she writes word salads to deflect away from truths or some things that are going on. Now, when I look at this, she is trying to remove herself from the dangerous and problematic content that she is creating. Now, in that subreddit, in this particular post, people had a general consensus that TikTok is not tolerating her and they don't like her. I'm not surprised that they're rejecting this. TikTok's a different space. It's not surprising that she will say that it will disappear in January if she is aware that people on TikTok are aware of her nonsense and problems and her problematic behavior. I think it's a response to that. Now, the issue with it disappearing in January, there is no real definitive timeline as to when and if TikTok will disappear in January. I've read different accounts on things. Katie Joy has not been reading the facts around this, and I'm not surprised. I think she picked a point where she said this because she is getting into trouble on TikTok, whether TikTok is going after her or her audience is turning on her. People just don't like her and are reporting her, appropriately so, for her horrible content. So I'm not sure what concept she is struggling with. She had built an audience there. She had tens of thousands of so-called followers on there. How many of those are real? I don't know. I don't know if you can buy subscriptions on TikTok or anything like that. She's going to have a hell of a hard time once this legislation with the FTC comes through. And if it indeed does come down and it starts taking that fake engagement away and those bogus followers and subscribers, she's going to be in some trouble. And maybe that's what she's looking at. That's why I'm not here this week. Well, there are a lot of reasons why. She said this twice already. Now, why would she need to disappear in a week if TikTok is supposedly going to be banned in the United States in January? You think that she would prepare her audience to look for alternatives at this point, not disappear for a week. She probably got in trouble, and she is in trouble because of the obsessive, abusive, threatening, nonsensical stuff that she was doing in her lives. The doxing, the harassment, all of that. She got in trouble for that. I don't think that this was something she chose to do. It was an extreme from having that, being on hours on end on these lives, to not being on in a week unless something had happened. Now, I have not been following the Katie Joy stuff as strongly this week as I had in previous weeks, and I have since discontinued my Another Truth account on X because of the problems that I'm personally having with following anybody or anything going on X, and I don't want to be a part of that. So I don't know I'm not keeping up with a lot of things going on. She claims my reporting is not focused on Gypsy Rose Blanchard, and I think some people have wrongly lumped me into being an anti-Gypsy creator. Well, yeah, I mean, there's some variety in the posts, but the lives were incessantly, obsessively targeting Gypsy Rose Blanchard and everybody in her circle. And the abusive doxing and everything else, and falsely accusing people of sexual harassment. Now, I'm not defending the person being accused because they're problematic on their own for other things, and Katie Joy failed to do the research on that. But falsely accusing anybody of anything is horrible, but she does that with a lot of people. So, as someone commented on my community post, something had happened here, and she probably got in trouble with it, and I agree. I can't say whether or not she's anti anything. I don't know if she subscribes to any of that, but all I know is that she is violently divorced from the truth and taking accountability. She doesn't know the concept of any of those things. She can have her own truths, and she doesn't even acknowledge that. She doesn't take accountability, it seems, for her own health care when she can, because she's too busy, in my opinion, going after people online. She is obsessed with social media itself, it seems, in my layperson's perspective. And she lives her life on that, trying to be a big shot that she is not. It's okay to be an underachiever. Some of us were not built to have that level of honest ambition for a lot of things. Some of us aren't successful in the things that we're told we're supposed to be successful in. It's why you go to school. It's why you get training. It's why you learn to believe in yourself in the right way, in a wholesome way, in a realistic way, to build up that self-confidence and not pretend that. Katie Joy doesn't report on anything. I personally think that she is a big troll. Not a very intelligent troll, but she's a big troll. She does not use her intellect. She does not use her past education. She does not use resources to help her develop those areas in which she is deficient, where she needs extra help. She doesn't consistently go to therapy, it seems, by her own words, when she clearly needs to, in my layperson's perspective. She doesn't follow through. I know, I understand it's hard. Grappling with emotional instability and not following through on things, not believing in things, not having a lot of trust in things, and not having to go through with it because it reminds us of who and what we are instead of celebrating who we really are. That's really special. That's really wonderful. But she is not pro-truth and accountability. If she said that she were a troll and all she wanted to do was disrupt things, and she had these obsessions with people, and that she did threaten these people and did take accountability for it, I would have a certain level of respect for that. I still wouldn't like her, I still wouldn't trust her, and I would still call her out. But there would be a level of respect as long as that was owned up honestly, with heart, with a level of empathy, and being able to express that in a solid way. She said, I also believe that ignoring a dangerous narcissistic sociopath is better than constantly talking about or promoting. That makes no sense either. It's Katie Joy's word salad form, again to deflect. She's using other people's words to make this stupid argument. And it is stupid. Okay. Because many people have referenced Katie Joy as being dangerous, and she is between the harassment and the doxing and potentially behind a lot of these threats and making false allegations, which she is known to have made. She is projecting. Now, as far as the narcissistic sociopath, I'm not sure if Gypsy Rose Blanchard is that. I know that she murdered her mother. There are questions around her motives for doing that, her upbringing, all that. I'm not there to debate that. I'm not saying she's a good person. But she is one of those people. Gypsy Rose gets a lot of things for being infamous because people feel bad for her. I'll tell you, Ted Bundy had women throwing themselves at him after what he had viciously done to girls and women. Another example is when I went on a bus, inside of a bus, traveling to Boston to visit a friend for lunch. And there was a very young woman sitting in the back, and she had a conversation on her cell phone that you could hear. I mean, it was loud, talking about her love for the Boston bomber. He didn't do it. She was doing everything she could to get him out. And that was perplexing to me. But, there is a phenomena around that. There is something to that psychologists have, I suppose, named. So, yeah, I mean, I'm not surprised that people are throwing their money away on somebody who is infamous because it is exciting. And supposedly she's having a baby, and the baby doesn't deserve to be neglected, and no one should be taking anything out on any baby that is born from her because that has nothing to do with it. That's the only problem I have with getting these sponsors disconnected from Gypsy Rose because it affects the baby. But at the same time, I question why these businesses do support and people are throwing their money away on Gypsy Rose when they don't have to. I mean, there are other people who need it more than she does, but I can't control who spends what. I would imagine, though, that Katie Joy is very jealous of that. And Katie Joy brought up her own son numerous times about his situation, hoping that people will open their wallets for her son. But Katie Joy doesn't have that type of notoriety or clout, as it were. No one's going to be throwing money at Katie Joy. People had done that when her son was younger, and she had been gifted many things over the course of time. And to expect people to keep supporting that is ridiculous. If Katie Joy was careful about her social media presence, she may not be paying lawyers out of pocket and bankrupting herself practically, though I don't know if she's bankrupt, to defend herself because she gets her jollies off of defaming people and she's being held accountable. I'm not defending the people who sued her or anything like that. I'm not here to do that. Katie Joy doesn't understand the consequences of those things. What's interesting here is that talking about or promoting, she doesn't talk about what she's actually talking about or promoting. What in this makes sense? None of it makes sense because she doesn't say what she's talking about or promoting. I think Katie Joy is talking about herself, to be honest with you. And she hasn't promoted Gypsy Rose in quite some time. When Gypsy Rose wanted nothing to do with her, Katie Joy turned her back on her. Anybody who says no to Katie Joy, does not want anything to do with her, okay, people that are really of no consequence to Katie Joy. It's not, it's not like she's part of something and she's being excluded from it, something important, or she's being denied health care because she has something else going on, or, something important like that. She wants to tag on to the notoriety of these people because she wants that level of attention and stardom. She's not going to get it because she is not of that stature. Some people have that, some people don't. There's some real talentless, awful human beings out there that seem to get everything they want. There are some people who made their mark in the world and now they're in a holding cell for throwing horrifying trafficking parties. And Katie Joy wants to be in the center of that. Look who she's attempted to align with. All the connections and relationships she has, she doesn't have them. She might have some butt kissers on TikTok, but they have a problem too because they don't understand who she is. No one should be going to bat for Katie Joy. People should be taking care of themselves and understand exactly who it is they're getting involved with. It's astonishing to me how much nonsense this is. I'm not sure what Katie Joy is saying when just something I hope some people will consider. Who is that directed at? Gypsy Rose? People reporting her? People having successful live TikToks talking about Katie Joy? Is Katie Joy jealous of that too? I don't know, but something is seriously going wrong, and I think it's just a matter of time when we'll find out the truth. Or find out a truth. Anyway, take care and have a good evening. Bye-bye.